so comfortable. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
We're fine.
Thanks for being here, Tim.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry if any of this makes you uncomfortable.
No.
You work in locations stuff, you say, right?
I do, yeah. So I typically will help find certain locations for TV shows and film. Then I will make sure that my crew doesn't destroy them.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
We destroy so many things, and on the behalf of all G&E people, and to the art department people out there who I have ruined their lives as well.
Yeah.
We are sorry.
No, it's quite alright. I take no offense.
We don't want to.
It's
kill
just
everything.
it's absurd. We recently destroyed a country club.
Ooh.
On
Yeah.
purpose, or
Nope, on accident.
just kind of it happened? The lawn, of course.
It happened.
The lawn's the first thing to go when it's
Lawns
wet
are
and
definitely
muddy.
the first things to go.
This, yeah,
Or the
which-
parking area.
Those two usually, yes. This was cobblestone walkways into the country club.
Wow.
Yep.
That's impressive.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Were they just dragging heavy carts across the stones?
It was
Or-
I think it was our set dressers.
I was like, yeah, was it sets or was it G&E?
No, yeah.
Those
was,
are the two heavy
tries
ones that are
not to
gonna-
go on cobblestones. We look for another way. We'll go
That's
around.
fair.
I'll push a goddamn muscle cart down a highway
It was
just to not, have any bumps.
I heard it was just dirt.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it just
was-
got furrowed. Is
Well-
that the word, furrowed?
Well, no, it was like
Furloughed.
Maybe.
you know, like those big bags of dirt,
Furrows.
like you're laying out mulch. It
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
carts of those. It was like 8 carts of those, and it's just the weight of it, kind of, just a nice
Wow,
little
that's a lot of
cracked
mulch.
path. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. I wasn't even there.
Yeah, that's
So-
like kind of crazy. That's one of those things I'd be very suspicious of and be like,
It's one of these things where like people in
That's
my
with the
department were
church.
like, "You will never fucking guess what just happened."
it's the
No.
worst when people in your department say, where you're like,
Yeah, like
Oh, no.
holy shit. But no, it's great.
technical difficulties.
No.
Good start.
No, none of those. I was just
No, you're good.
adjusting things that I do.
Yes.
So you wanted to talk about the other thing, but because we have the other thing, we're doing the other thing. And Plan B is the video game element of...
Yes.
I'm trying to
I
get there.
think.
Just let me get there.
Okay.
How many aspects of movies has been now integrated into video game production and design, and a lot of professionals are moving over there. Like, they have been doing that like since the 90s, just like, oh, PlayStation, we can just do video mapping and go home at 5 o'clock. Like,
Yes. And vice versa, though. I would also say
And
how
also
the
the other
video
way.
game market is influencing the way major pop culture movies are made.
explain.
Just I think it's like very clear when you watch certain action movies and like stuff like that, where you look at it and you're like, wow, this just like looks like a sequence out of a video game, and it becomes like kind of clear that it's like, oh, this is very much like catered to be made into a game for the franchise later on.
Right.
Where it's like just certain
Star
parts
Wars
of the
does
action
it.
that are happening are like, this is
Avatar
very
did
clearly
it.
like made in a video game-esque style.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Word.
In my opinion. I just don't have much
The
motivation
game
to
that
see it.
that brought up this feeling in me was Red Dead Redemption 2, and
Okay.
I bought it about a month ago ish. Played a lot of it.
You've played it.
Yes.
You've played it.
Oh yeah.
I have not played it because I'm currently systemless.
What about
So
the?
sorry to my
did you
Twitch
play the original
streamers,
or the zombie one?
but,
There's the zombie one also.
I used to play it, and I've watched a lot of gameplay through of Red Dead
yeah,
2.
so you get it.
And one of my friends is in it, so I've heard a lot about
Neat.
it. Yeah, she plays Abby. Callie Moore. Killing it.
Abby. I can't get there yet because of the cinematic vision of this game. They really want to make it an hour and 20, like an 120-hour movie.
Yeah.
That you have to just ride a horse for a lot of it behind a guy who's talking, and that happened so much in the original one. It happened a little.
Yeah.
But it got gratuitous where I was like sitting here with my roommate going like, he was like, how long have you been following this guy on this horse? And I'm like, I don't know, like
Days.
45 minutes, and we're just like
Your life.
slowly trotting up into the mountains to maybe find a bear. So like that thing, this is my rant, and you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but that thing that's happening is it's just kind of an organic impact of what movies and TV and mobile phones have done. But what people really want are like just playable games. Like just you turn it on and that's why like Smash Brothers is so different.
For sure.
You just turn it on and smash.
Smash. True, but I'm also a sucker for cinematic games. And again,
me too.
I haven't played Red Dead 2 yet, so like I can't personally speak to that. But like you said,
Be
I think
prepared to
it's,
look at a horse's ass
Yeah.
for a long time.
It took me like a month and a half to beat that game. It's that long.
Fair.
And probably a month of that was riding on a horse.
Yeah.
Talking to cowboys
And
and...
there's no fast travel anymore, right? You just ride on that horse.
There is, but you need to get to them to use them. So, like,
Yeah,
there's
you might
a
as
fast
well.
travel place in every town. Or not even every town. But you need to ride your horse to get to the fucking fast travel place. If you leave the town, you need to ride back to use it. So,
That's annoying.
it
That
eats
sounds
up
like-
time.
Yeah.
I have heard that about it. I have heard that if I want to play it, I should get ready for like a very like
Yeah, just like
Long
be snowed
haul,
in
kind of.
somewhere. Because it's.
I mean, I'm looking forward to playing it.
It's also
all
great.
Of these things.
It's also great.
I'm
I'm just-
excited to play it.
I went and saw a movie last night. And I actually saw a trailer for Red Dead in the movie theater.
That's
Really?
awesome.
So I feel like video games have
That's
come a
so
long way in terms of like
Hell yeah.
cinematic aspects, to where they're showing these trailers
Like,
where
clips from a movie directed by. Yeah.
almost yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Wow.
we're getting to the point where they're so cinematic and realistic that you can confuse it with an animated movie.
Which I get, and I kind of like, but I kind of hate. But I didn't know they were showing like gaming trailers in movie theaters now.
Yeah,
That's
well,
new information to me. at
I
least.
feel like with the scale of Red Dead, that you'd have something of that magnitude. Like, it's one of the biggest games in the world right now.
Yeah.
So, to show one of the biggest games before one of the biggest movies in the world right now, which is Aquaman.
Is that what you saw last night?
Oh my god.
Is it good? Isn't it?
I felt like I left that theater with less chromosomes.
Oh, so it's just like.
It is.
It's
It
like
was
gay
the-
man fish porn.
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I could go on about fucking
We
Aquaman
might have to come back to that.
and how terrible that movie. I'm having fucking PTSD just thinking about it, but it.
Did you want to get out of there? Like, did you have a chance to escape?
I've never walked out. I've almost walked out of a movie 2 other times. Last night was the third. Transformers 2.
Never seen.
Hot Rod with Andy Samberg. It's an old
know
movie.
What that is.
It's like it came out in the late 2000s.
Meh.
And then this steaming hot pile of trash that made $1 billion. But like
It's just
15
'cause
minutes
Jason
in,
Momoa's hot.
15 minutes in, yeah, he is. But
Super hot.
I was, if I wasn't
So
like,
maybe that movie happened.
if I wasn't with people, I would have left. It was that cringy.
So you couldn't
Fair.
escape. Sometimes
Fair.
it's a social agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
To
It's
finish,
like-
and you kind of
Yeah, where you're like,
you look at
"Oh."
someone like sidelong, and you're like,
Also, I'm
And
gonna
you
make
groan?
the terrible joke that's like the woman's standpoint on all life.
on all.
It's a social agreement to finish.
oh man.
Sorry.
That is
Anyway,
good.
I'm a bad person.
But
But it was cool to see, you know, before that 3-hour debacle, to see this cinematic masterpiece of a game beforehand. You know, I feel like games have come a long way if that is the case. That you have like a trailer for, I don't know, who cares, coming out who knows when. But
Yeah.
then it's like Red Dead Redemption out now.
Yeah, especially with a game that's already out. That's like why I think I find that especially interesting that it was for material that's already available and not for like
you
an
can
upcoming
get it
game.
right now. Actually, since October.
Yeah, it was like
It's
it's
been
been
out
out
a
for a
while.
while. It's not
Yeah.
like a like
Also has already grossed $1 billion, but
yeah, because I hear it's phenomenal and it looks phenomenal.
it does.
Also, side note, I realized we never like introed. We're really bad at that.
Yeah, we don't have to do that anymore.
Great.
There's gonna be like a fucking sequence or something beforehand with a da-da-da-da-ba, with like a spinning earth. I don't know.
Do you want to
Fix it in
Is
post.
that it with a spinning earth?
We'll fix it in post.
Like-
Like, cut
Great.
right
Like
here.
that moon. It's just on the
So
string.
normally
like-
he's the one who stops us to intro. Like he cuts off my rants and is like, Greer, I haven't even done the intro yet.
It's like,
so
we don't know
We
who
used
you
the
are.
slate though. It was on the slate. Like,
I don't know. You said what the fuck ever. Like, I don't know.
that's true.
I don't know what's on the slate.
I may.
Anyway,
That may be true.
that's cool though. Like it's cool to see things in. I can't use words. To see video game trailers for movies.
So, what do you guys prefer in terms of that aspect? Do you prefer a game that... I know you said you prefer a game more playable. Like, are you looking for a game for it to be a game where you just play it, or are you looking for this almost playable movie that you can, like, live and experience this medium?
I feel like Grand Theft Auto Vice City was the first instance of this kind of just, I can turn this on and fuck shit up and like, oh, I have to go to school now. Like, I can just blow up cop cars for 5 minutes and then run away. Or
Yeah.
just turn the thing off. Like, it doesn't matter what you do.
fair.
Forgot the point there.
More playable games versus more cinematic games.
Yeah, I get bored. I'm old. Like, I just I want to play the thing and then turn it off when I get tired. And I think
Fair.
that's a pretty common thing in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
older gamer age group. It was like we used to just put in a quarter and then like our mom had to pick us up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fair. Maybe
You
it's
couldn't
being
spend
like
all day.
a younger gamer, but I really like cinematic games. I think some games are too cinematic, and I think like, especially with cutscenes, I think cutscenes can go a little too far, where you're just like watching 20 minutes of cutscenes and not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
Particularly with like God of War 4, which I
Where you push
love,
one button
which I
every
love.
14 seconds and you're like, and then
yeah,
he
but it's
throws
like,
the hook and then he climbs the hook.
not just that,
and
but I
then
mean,
he-
there's like just a lot of cutscenes in that where so much of it is narrative, and I get it because it's a very narrative-driven story, and I like parts of that. But I think parts of it, it's like I'd rather be like doing something than just watching things happen. But I also love very like, I don't know, games that look a lot like movies. Like for me, especially like Horizon Zero Dawn is like such a beautiful game.
Yeah.
And it feels very cinematic, even though you're constantly active, even though it's smaller things.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a good compromise between, like, cinematic games versus games that are just so, like, overly story-driven at parts that you're not really participating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could see that. Because you look at it from, like, I guess, like, an actual gameplay versus a cinematic, where, like, both are becoming more hyper-realistic. I know, like, it's kind of weird to say, but some of the Call of Duties have actually some of the best cinematics I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like-
Same with Mass Effect and, like, stuff
Well,
like that.
Yeah, I mean, Mass Effect's one of my favorite game series, but, like, it looks dated now.
Sure.
But, like, if you were to take, I don't know, whatever Call of Duty had Kevin Spacey as the villain
Yeah.
before he was an
That's
actual
awesome.
villain in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked exactly like himself. He played himself. They just mapped his person.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It's like I'm watching a movie right now starring Kevin Spacey, or the next one even with Jon Snow, Kit Harington.
Yeah, okay.
What
And,
is that called? I want to see.
Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare?
Yeah, it was
Sounds
like
so intense.
yeah, it like
I thought
it
we already
progressed.
had an Infinity War.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it progressed. It was like
Ooh, get Harrington.
they went so far into the future that they digressed back into the past, and now I don't know, who cares. It's just Fortnite with Call of Duty now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but so are most things when you really break them down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that new
Where's the story
gameplay
in
style
Fortnite?
has just, like, taken over.
I tried. I really did try with the Fortnite.
Tim's a pretty hardcore Fortniter.
That's cool.
I'm
I couldn't break through
Pure
the,
garbage.
the age barrier, like
Oh yeah,
the nimble minds that hop
only
around
played
and
Fortnite
build
twice.
things.
8-year-olds
I know.
demolish me.
Yeah.
They'll get on the mic and be like, hey,
Don't quote you on that.
you want to be my yeah.
Definitely quote him on that.
Yeah.
That should be our title card.
8-year-olds
Just a picture of Tim. Just 8-year-olds demolished.
with like a thumbs up, like
Spike the camera, give us that title card too.
Yeah.
Mhm.